I'm going to talk next about how I eat and how I recover. Obviously, your recovery and your nutrition is just as important as your training. So I'm going to kind of dive into this. As far as nutrition, I follow the 80-20 rule as best I can. So 80% of the time I'm eating clean. I'm eating steak, ground beef, the raw milk, of course, as you all know, fruit. That's basically it. I eat pretty much the same thing every single day. For breakfast is like half a pound of ground beef, 4 or 5 eggs, some oranges, some berries, maybe some like high protein yogurt, some milk, and that's basically it. For dinner, most nights is some kind of steak or maybe like a ground beef bowl or a chicken bowl, something like that, something with like rice or couscous. Keeping it very, very simple. And then the other 20% of the time, I'll have some ice cream. I'll have some cookies. Bree and I'll go out to eat. We'll get dessert. We'll eat the seed oil filled entree at the restaurant. So I think having like guidelines and having a balance of everything is crucial. I've tried the tracking, the macros. I've tried no sugar. I've tried no sweets, and it lasts for like a week. It's just not practical in my opinion. You're gonna go out with friends. You're gonna go out to eat with your significant other. You're gonna be traveling. There's always gonna be something that comes up that's gonna make it very difficult to get that 100% healthy food in. And some people do it. Kudos to them. But it takes a lot of work. And I think having that 80-20 rule just allows you to live life a little bit more too. Like, maybe when you're a month out from your marathon, you can skip more sweets. You can be more intentional. You can say, I don't want to get dessert tonight. But I think you got to live life sometimes too. You got to be a human. And I think the 80-20 rule really is a good balance. If you eat well 5 out of 6 days a week and you have one day of eating shitty, you're not going to die. It's not going to ruin everything. You're not going to get fat. You're going to be just fine. And I don't think you need to track everything. I've tried tracking stuff, and it's so tedious. It's time consuming. It works for some people, but I just don't like having that relationship with my food. I like to eat when I'm hungry and not eat if I'm not hungry. I don't like force feeding myself. I don't like, saying no to something because my macros say I've had enough to eat today, even though I can tell that my body is still really hungry. I think intuitively eating is the way to go. And I think a lot of people would probably agree with that. People that have been doing fitness and training for a while. Also, I'm not bodybuilding. I'm not going for a specific physique. I think if I were doing that, maybe I'd get more dialed in. But because I'm just training for performance purposes, I want to get faster. I want to get stronger. That's where I think eating intuitively really can lend a hand. So that's my approach to nutrition. I think the 80-20 rule is very, very beneficial. In terms of recovery, I probably don't do enough recovery specific things. I think sleep is the number one thing you can do for recovery. I sleep minimum 7 hours a night. Most nights it's closer to 8. Time in bed, I try and be like 8.5, 9 hours. I usually fall asleep pretty quickly. I'll lay down, I'll read for 20, 30 minutes, shut the lights off, and I'm usually asleep almost instantly. So I think having some time before bed to wind down, putting your phone away, hanging out with the family, not really watching TV, not playing on your phone, just being present. Turn the lights down low. You don't need all these lights blasting. Some people go as far as like putting red light bulbs. I don't do anything like that, but or the blue light blocking glasses, the red lens glasses. You can do that stuff if that helps you. I found a routine that works for me. I think getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, I feel good. If I get less than 7, I definitely feel tired mentally. I feel more sore. I feel more tight. So for me, 7 to 8 hours seems to work perfectly. And I can tell when I'm consistently getting good sleep that I'm recovering much, much faster, and I just feel better. If I'm traveling a lot, if I've got like a really busy schedule and I get a few nights in a row where I've got like 6 hours of sleep, 6.5, I just feel like crap. So sleep is a huge, huge priority. And I know a lot of people struggle with sleep. And I think a lot of it comes comes down to like phones and screens and lights. We're like basically tricking our brains into thinking that it's daytime out, even though it's 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and the sun's been down for hours, but you've got all these lights on in your house. You've got your phone, inches away from your face with a light blasting into your eyes. You've got your TV screen on. You've got all this stimulus and this light. And I think that's one of the biggest inhibitors of good sleep. So I make a very strong point to stay off my phone, keep the lights off as much as I can, no screens or anything like that, and no work either. I try and stop working by 6, 7 p.m. at the latest because it's just so stimulating mentally. I love going for a walk like an hour before bed. I'll take the dogs around the neighborhood, go for a walk, no phone or anything, just being present, getting your thoughts out. And it's a really, really good way to unwind. So there's all these different things you can do to enhance your sleep. I think you got to just try a whole bunch of things, see what works for you. Obviously not exercising too late in the day. I usually don't lift or run past 7 p.m. I find it like wakes me up, gets my nervous system going, and then it's hard to fall asleep a couple hours later. I started wearing mouth tape and nose strips. So I used to snore a lot. I used to talk in my sleep a lot, and I think I would wake myself up. And putting the mouth tape on totally got rid of that. I don't really snore anymore, as far as I know. I don't talk in my sleep. And the nose strip just helps to open up your nose, obviously, to help breathe easier through your nose. So I've loved that. That's definitely helped my sleep quite a bit. And I feel like when I wake up, I can just breathe way better through my nose. My airways feel more open versus when I don't. If I forget it, or if I'm traveling or I run out, whatever, and I don't have my mouth tape with me, and I wake up, my nose is like stuffed. Love the nose strips. Love the mouth tape. There's some sleep tips for you. And then some other stuff as far as recovery. I'll plunge sometimes. If I'm here at home, if I'm not traveling, I'll plunge most days, probably 3-4 times a week. I do 2 minutes. Right now, I think it's set to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So not super cold, but it's cold enough, especially when it's hot like this out. It's 100 degrees in Austin. So hopping into 50-degree water is a big shock. I honestly don't feel a lot of recovery benefits from the plunge. I think the plunge is better mentally than it is physically, in my opinion. I know there are some benefits physically, obviously, but I find the biggest benefits to just be mental, flexing that like fight or flight muscle, that decision-making muscle. You want to get out so bad, but you're forced to stay in there, or you're forcing yourself to stay in there, which can obviously be very beneficial for running and endurance. So plunge occasionally. I don't stretch ever, never any stretching, no static stretching. The most stretching I will do will be like a couple quick dynamic warm-ups before like a speed workout. Maybe some like butt kickers, high knees, karaoke, lateral shuffle. There's some real basic kind of stuff, but no like static stretching. And there's lots of science to back this up. You don't have to static stretch if you're trying to perform at your best, especially for running. Even for strength training, as far as I know, static stretching is not great. Think of your muscles as a spring. If you're constantly stretching those out, you are not getting the springiness and the snappiness of your muscles that you could be. And I can tell if I'm consistently stretching, I almost feel worse if I do. I just really don't see a lot of benefit to stretching. I've tried both, and I feel better when I don't stretch, and I save time. So if stretching works for you, by all means do it, but I don't stretch at all. And the science would back that up from a running and strength training perspective. If you're doing yoga, obviously you need to be more flexible. You need to have looser muscles. But for most sports, you don't really need to static stretch. There's a lot better ways to get mobility. I love walking. I love walking for recovery. Motion is the lotion, as they say. I try and walk the dogs every day. Just 20, 30 minutes around the neighborhood. If I'm out traveling, I love going for like an afternoon walk or an evening walk. Walking is so great. And if you can do it without a phone and just go out and be with your thoughts for 20, 30 minutes, I don't think there's things much more powerful than that. And it just feels good. It gets all of the joint fluid moving. It gets the blood flowing, gets your heart rate up just a little bit. I think walking is one of the best recovery tools that we have, especially after a race. The same day as a marathon, I'll go out that evening and do like a 45, 60-minute walk, just nice and easy. And I feel so much better the next day. It's like, I think the natural tendency, and I get it, is to lay on the couch all day after a big workout or after a marathon and let your body rest and recover. And you still need that. But I think the movement is key. And I think this is actually why, after like a 100-mile race or a big like ultra marathon effort, I'm usually not that sore, and most people aren't that sore because you're almost getting that like active recovery in while you're doing the race. So like for a 100-mile race, especially in the mountains, like I'm walking probably 30% of the race because you're going up these big hills, these big mountains you got to climb up. So you're forced to walk, and I think that low impact, just constant kind of movement helps your body recover a little bit faster. So motion is lotion. I love walking. I think another thing that's helped me a lot is band work. So I just take a mini band. I pick like the highest resistance, and I'll do some like side lateral steps. I'll do some high knees for the hip flexors. I'll do some kickbacks for the glutes and hamstrings. I'll do some like really deep squats with them. And I usually do like kind of just those 4 movements. I'll sometimes like lay on the ground and do some like hip thrusts up to activate the glutes some more. The band work has helped a ton. I do that pretty much every day before a strength workout. Just gets everything loose, gets those muscles activated, gets the blood flowing, and I think that has helped me a ton. And then the last thing in terms of recovery is just reducing stress. I know this is a hard thing for a lot of people. For all humans, we're always stressed out about something, I think, whether it's work or family or travel or money or whatever it is. We're always stressed out about something. And there's different ways to reduce stress, obviously. We're all different. It's very subjective, but stress obviously is known to elevate your heart rate, elevate your blood pressure, slow down your recovery, reduce your performance. So finding different ways to reduce your stress, I think walking is a big way to do that. Any kind of meditation. So every morning I spend 5 to 10 minutes meditating and journaling and just being intentional, trying to be as present as I can. And I find that really helps not only get my thoughts out for the day, but it helps to reduce any kind of stress, anything that's like weighing on my mind. Journaling for simply 5 to 10 minutes, just saying, putting it down on paper or typing it out on a computer of like whatever your thoughts are in that current moment, what you've been doing for the last 24 hours, what you've got coming up, anything that might be bugging you. It's almost like therapy with yourself. Like you can just get those thoughts out and you can kind of work through things. And it feels like you're talking to somebody else or like you're talking to your future self who might look back and read this. And I find that journaling helps a ton. And then just taking a few minutes, it can be 30 seconds to just close your eyes, be with your thoughts, be intentional, be present, and do some like real quick meditation. There's meditation apps out there. There's guided meditations. I've done those before. Those are great. But all those little things, I think it comes down to just intentionality and presence and just taking a minute to not be on your phone, not be on your computer, not talk to anybody else, and just be with your thoughts for just a few minutes. I think doing that every day at the beginning of the day has incredible powers. So highly, highly recommend that. And I think that can help reduce stress, which therefore can help your recovery.